Well, shaking cats and kittens, Rob Lee here for this month's presenting sponsor, Night Owl Gallery. Night Owl Gallery is an intimate, artist-run exhibition space showcasing the original paintings and fine art prints of Beth Ann Wilson. Also, it features curated goods from local artists and craftsmen. You'll be sure to find one-of-a-kind gifts, handcrafted jewelry, home decor items, along with a few vintage treasures. Located in the rear of 248 South Conklin Street in Highlandtown, across from Sally O's, Night Owl Gallery is a unique space that brings together Wilson's love of the arts, community, and culture. Additionally, Night Owl Gallery hosts an array of arts and crafts workshops throughout the year and participates in community events, many of which are free and open to the public. So in this ever-changing world, safety is their priority. So feel free to join them and hit them up online at www.nightowl.gallery. Tell them Rob Lee sent you. Welcome to Getting to the Truth in This Art. I'm your host, Rob Lee, and this is on MTR Podcast. My next guest is a writer, poet, event planner, brand ambassador, dancer, promoter, collaborator, and an apparel owner. Please welcome Dee J.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So I had a laundry list of the multiple avenues that you're in, the multiple places that you work within. So put that together for us. Form that for us. Describe your work.
Oh, wow. So everybody knows me as DJ, but my brand is #DeeJSaidIt. So that started probably like 3 years ago. I started writing. I've been writing poetry forever, but I started putting DJ said it at the end of everything. And then it just kind of grew from there to started writing quotes over the last 3 years. And then it went from that to me starting my own promotions team, which consists of entertainers, vendors, entrepreneurs. I started that last year, I had my first fashion show. So after that, it went from there to an apparel owner, which is in the works. So that will be released soon. I had to get some certain things in place so that way when I release it, legally, it's where it needs to be. Yeah, so that kind of sums it up a little bit. Yeah. And as far as the brand ambassador, I invested for my own brand and a few other brands. So I'm a person where if I see your brand and I like it, I will purchase and promote it. That's how we get the word around and support each other.
Yeah. And I think that's really, really important and really big here, especially in Baltimore, where, Baltimore has a lot of talent. This area has a lot of talent and a lot of really interesting, unique people who are hard workers. It's a blue collar city with that edge of having a lot of creativity. And I think a lot of times people kind of jump for what's popping, what's hot, and they may not do what you just described of supporting. Yeah. And the way I usually put it is be an evangelist for me, endorse me. It's more than just, hey, I did it like. No. Yeah, really be vehement about that. So with all of the things that you did, you touch on poetry was kind of that initial thing, right? So creatively, what is that first love for you? Is it poetry? And whatever the first love for you may be creatively, why is that your first love?
I would say poetry because I've been doing it for so long, but everything stems from it because poetry for me is it's a language and it can be expressed in various ways. So I've been dancing for a long time as well. So they go hand in hand. So being able to, there's a difference between a poet and a spoken word artist.
Sure.
I try to tell people that. So being a poet more so behind the scenes and being able to touch people without even directly having to say anything per se, just like dance. So I would say that's my first love because I don't have to say anything and my actions speak volumes. It just has that effect. It's just like dance. It has that effect of making people feel a certain type of way, making them think, when you write and you release those words, it makes people also get a vision and they kind of step into where you are. So yeah, poetry would have to be my first love.
So since that is your first love, when you think of influences in that space, or it may be people who are within the realm of poetry, or people outside of that realm of poetry, who are some of your influences, or what are some of your influences? Because I think can be bigger than people sometimes, right?
I would say also when I was younger, not being able to, thinking that I couldn't be heard because I'm a very quiet person, so to speak, and not feeling like I could express myself without having to deal with people bashing or whatever their reaction is going to be. Writing was my outlet, and it saved a lot of hurt and all that stuff. Like I could just release it through my writing. I could let my tears, I could smile, I could be happy, all that stuff on paper. And it was real. It wasn't like it was fake. It was real. But it my experiences are what led to that writing. So I've been through a lot. So I would say like growing up, being Black. Well, being Black, I didn't have some issues that some people do have. Fortunately, I didn't have that. Yeah. But dressing how I dress, okay, then being a queer person of color, that too, and then coming from a religious setting as well. So all of that stemmed into my writing. And as time went on, like sometimes I look back at my writing and I have a book with some of the stuff I've written, and then it transitioned from that to electronic. And I look and I see how much it has grown. And I look back at the stuff that I was going through during those years, and I'm like, wow, that is the reason why I'm the writer that I am today and the person that I am today, because of those experiences. And if I was to ever reveal some of those writings, I know people would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to write. I remember I went away for a summertime it was a regional math and science program. Yeah. And people were really getting on my nerves, and I had to write. And so people would try to sneak and steal my work just so they could see if I was talking about them. That's how powerful it was. But yeah, my experiences are what led to the writing and it being my passion.
That's good. I used to write back in high school. I was one of these people that I didn't find one outlet, and I used to look at it like it was a negative thing. So I was doing illustrations, drawing, and all of that stuff. And then I went into writing, and I kind of like that a lot. And kind of in that same way of being able to maybe transfer a feeling or feelings, if you will, into a different medium, and being able to kind of let them have their space and then be done with them. I can't look back at those books because it's wild stuff in there. I was like, yo. Yeah. And but then being able to use that transition from being able to just kind of develop in those different areas. Like, I want to create this, and this is speaking for me. I want to create this, and this is speaking for me. And now, and for the better part of the last 13 years, I've used podcasting as that tool, whether it be just talking about the news and having a good time and making fun of different things, or talking about something and talking with folks that are local, and really being an activist and an advocate. I hate using the word activist, but that's the way that I'm trying to present it, where I want to show people who are doing stuff here that I admire, that I think are not getting their due. And some people that are, but people that aren't getting their due, and showing Baltimore as a place that has a lot of talent. And I, just don't like that negative thing that's there. So that's the thing that I think kind of drives and influences this sort of work, because it's been years of listening to all types of just wild things. And it's like, that's not right. You know what? I could put my money where my mouth is at.
Exactly. And I like what you said, because a lot of people don't get the props that's due to them. So what I do, I try to make sure everything that I do is different from everybody else. I try to it has to be something that stands out, that says, hey, that's DJ's event. This DJ said it, I cater towards the people who people don't look at. So if I find out that you're just starting your brand, I will feature you at my event. I'll say, I want you. I don't want the person that is already established. I want you, because I want to give you some exposure, and it's all about, and they appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate it too, just when I want to be a part, but I try to seek out the people who are just starting out or may not know where to go, and we can grow and build together.
That's really what it's about. And that's the thing that I really have gathered out of some of these conversations, that people are about community. And a lot of times, other places don't really do that, because it's maybe too many barriers, too many gatekeepers in that space. But when you have people who are like, look, I'm still starting, but I want to get you out there, or I'm in a certain space, but I want to help you get out there. That's the way these things work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned being an introvert. I'm kind of in that same spot. So with it, this is where this question comes from. You're an introvert, but you're doing so many different things, right? So how do you balance that time and your energy?
Oh my. So there's moments where I have to, when I'm focusing on something, there's a moment of silence that I have to take away from everything. So like right now, I have an event coming up on Saturday, and there's going to be a day, the day before or so, or the day, 2 days before, where I won't be promoting it or anything.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that moment of silence, so that you can kind of regroup yourself, especially being an introvert, because it can be a bit much. If you got people contacting you, you got phone going off. It's like, oh my God, I just want to shut it down, So, yeah, you have to have balance, because you also have to also make sure that you're still pushing and making sure that everything flows the way it's supposed to, and that you are handling things in a professional way or just business minded. So there are times where I don't have a choice, where it's like, you know what, I'm going to have to answer this call. I got to go to this meeting. Like, I got to do this. And then then just get it out of the way. Because then once it's over, then I can kind of take some time to myself. And that's so important for me, because if I don't take time to myself and take that time, I will lose it. I will lose it. And I'm a person where once I lose it, like I'll get really quiet. And then people get like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't say anything. Like I just need a minute. So I try to avoid that. So you gotta have that balance, or things get chaotic, especially dealing with an introvert who has extrovert tendencies. And it's about pleasing, bringing people together and pleasing people and making sure that they're good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where having those similar tendencies, and thank you for sharing. I think that's important to be able to set that time. It's like, I need to take this time for myself. I go back to one of the last things, and I have one that's coming up where doing a live podcast, like in front of people, I like being able to, if I screw something up, I can at least go back and kind of clean it up. Like, I said too many times or whatever. But when it's in person, it's like, I'm going to say something stupid, aren't I? Like incredibly stupid. And it just pops in my head. And I don't, but it's just that extra layer because it matters to me. And you give yourself these different naysayer sort of things, and you catastrophize all of these different things. This is going to turn out terribly. And also, and I don't know if you run into this, but with all the things that you're doing, I run into this on occasion where I try to create scarcity to have that balance, because it's like you do a lot of different stuff and it's like, you know what, let me just pull myself out. Like when people take a break for social media, I take a break from my work to be able to recharge in that way. And it might be a week, it might be 2, whatever.
Yes. I've done that. I just recently did that. Not knowing that. So every year, even before the year starts, every month or so, I like think, make a quote or something like that. And I said, I look back some of my quotes, and what did I say? I just posted it earlier. It was like, 2021 is going to be this, it's going to be that. And you speak those things, and then once they officially happen, it's like, oh shit, like, we're here. So I just took a 30 to 60 day detox from social media, not knowing that I would have been communicating with you, not knowing I would have been having this event and the other things that are coming ahead. Because every month I'm booked now, which I'm truly grateful for. But I needed that time to prepare for the future, which is now. Yeah. So taken that time to detox, like people were concerned because they didn't see me post anymore. They were like, is everything okay? And there were certain people I did contact. I said, I'm not on social media, and I didn't miss it. It wasn't, it was something I could go without. Yeah. And my phones were like not blowing up until maybe like 3 weeks later. People were like, oh my God, okay, what's going on? And then once I got back on, people were like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're back. Now I did prepare people. I said, I'm going to be going on a detox. They were like, oh my God, who am I going to watch? But I had to do that. Yeah. Like I said, not knowing what the future was going to hold. And here we are. And that was so needed. And I am going to do it again. I'll probably do it again in December. Yeah. Yeah, or especially my birthday month in January. I know I'm going to be...
January when?
That month, 23rd.
Okay, gang, 20th.
Yeah, I'm in Aquarius, and you're a Capricorn.
I'm on the cusp.
Yeah, you're on the cusp.
I'm specifically the cusp.
Yeah, you are. No, you are. Yeah, because on the 21st is when. Yeah, so you're on the cusp. So I'll let you slide. So, but yeah. So usually January, my birthday month, like no matter where I am, but I'm working or whatever, I take that entire month to myself. So I know it's coming, and I'm going to need it. And it's important. It feels great when you do it. Like, you don't realize it, how much you need it until you need it.
Yeah. I ran into this thing because I do 3 podcasts. I do this outside. I do 2 outside of this one. And they're all different. Like one is very time sensitive, and I've kind of taken a little bit of a step back to kind of recalibrate on that one. So it's like, I'll record it on a Thursday, have it out that Tuesday because it's news, it's current events. Whereas the other 2, this one and the movie review one that I do, I kind of can put them out when I want and kind of stick to a schedule, but batch record. But each has different requirements and so on. And, I find that, I've been doing it for a while. And when I am not doing it and it's like, let me just take a break from it, put the microwave or whatever, it's almost like I'm a junkie. It's like, I need it. Where's the microphone? But I think some of the other components, the social media piece, or even sometimes going out there and being seen, because that's a thing that, and again, I'm appreciative and all of that good stuff, but that's a thing that it's new to me. For the most part, I've been doing my thing on the low.
Right.
Maybe to do it more publicly, you run into people's energies, you run into things that's like,
oh god,
the timer goes off, the introvert timer goes off. It's like, I gotta go to this art gallery. Let me get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you're right. It that you said that, because it's one thing to be behind the scenes, like how we are right now, but then when you get to the public, it's like, okay, now I'm directly with people. I have to really protect my energy and my peace. I have to be mindful of who I want to do this and that with. And then, like, I don't know if you're like me, I watch how people move. So I'll see certain things and I'll be like, I may not say anything right then and there. But when the event is over, 9 times out of 10, they'll probably be blocked, or I'll make them aware, like, hey, I didn't like this, that, and we won't do business together again. I don't do business with everybody, but even when it comes to people who are attending, like, for instance, the event coming up, there are tickets, and I told people to send their names. That way I know who's coming. I don't like surprises, so to speak. So when you have that, you kind of prepare yourself, so like, just in case somebody pops up that you don't want there, ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? So you can say, hey, nope, they can't be there. So you already got it settled, and you're just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Whereas other things, like, people they're open to the public and anybody can show up. I'm like, no. Once as you continue to elevate and you grow, things start to have to be exclusive and invite only. Because of your space and your peace. So it's nothing personal, but it's like you tell people, like, hey, we're elevating over here, and this is about to be a guest only kind of thing. Like, and then you think about the future, because I don't know for some people, but you don't want to be the same place you are right now, like in the next year or next month. So as you progress, there will come a point where it's going to have to be guest list, because there's going to be so many people coming from left and right for whatever that you do, because they're like, oh my God, you're going to be there. You're going to be there every time they're on it, and they're spreading the word. And so then you really got to start, cutting things off a little bit. But it's to protect your energy and your space and your peace and your time. And especially, like I said, being an introvert, you have to do that.
So that is, I don't know if it's a challenge per se. I think, at least for me, there's a way that you can get energy. It's energy ultimately. You can let it serve you, or you can let it, like, take you down. Yeah. So if that is your challenge, for sake of argument, how do you overcome the challenges of being an artist, right? Poet, dancer, all of these things, while working behind the scenes and kind of juggling those other things to kind of make events happen and help people get their brand out there? How do you marry the two kind of things? I mean, you can do promotion and all of that stuff for yours, and those things kind of go hand in hand. But when you're working on your stuff and someone's like, hey, can you take a look at this? How do you balance those?
You got to think about it like, you got to look at the long-term goal of it. So there may be a moment where I have to take some time aside, where I could be, like, right now focused fully, like, on my any events that I have coming up. And then someone's like flying around, and then someone else is like, they're like I can't think of the word right now, but not a distraction, but like, it's like extra. So in comparison to what you're doing. So it's like, do I take time out to hear what they're saying, to pour into them? Because I have to pour into my own stuff first. And I want to be able to do it evenly. I don't want to half-ass any of it. So there are moments where I have to tell people, hey, you know what? Let's just set up a time and day when I can fully focus on you, you know, versus me like somebody calling me. I'm in the middle of something and I'm trying to be on the phone or whatever and trying to give them my attention, and I really can't because my head and my mind is everything is every which way. So sometimes you can do something really quick. You pull somebody to the side and if they need like a flyer or something done, they need some pointers. I have no problem setting aside time for it. Now, if I feel like I can't, then I would let them know and say, hey, you know what? I want to give you my undivided attention. So let's just set aside something, a different day or whatever. There's always time. Like I feel like you can always make time for people if it's something that you want to do.
Yeah, that's ultimately one of the things that's happened, like in doing this as long as I have. And you have people that you do stuff with, and you have an idea of how solid are they, right? And in doing this particular podcast, you're now bringing yourself and opening yourself up to so many other people with their quirks and their different ways of doing things. And I will research you. Like there have been people that's like, yo, how the hell did you know about that? I was like, I looked it up, and I research, I do this different stuff. So I think going back to what I was saying earlier about that scarcity, you know, you see the work that you're putting in, and then you'll have people canceling last minute. And I understand that stuff comes up. Really, I do. And it's not at you, you know, you good, but some people, they will do that thing where it's just like, oh, my bad, bro. And I was like, you canceled after I was already on for 30 minutes or whatever, waiting for you.
Oh, wow.
And it, you know, or like it just got back to recording in a space. Like I rent out a studio outside of my home. So I do it in person for some people on towards the end of the week. So usually I get that space on Thursdays and Fridays. Yeah. And there have been people who, I thought we were doing Zoom. It's like, well, when I sent you a physical address, I don't know if that was Zoom, you know?
You know, and not to cut you off, but it's crazy because, like you said, people cancel. And I had an incident where, like I told people, they don't know either on your end or my end what goes on behind the scenes,
right? And
stuff like that happens. It's like all they see is the end result, product, what we put out. That's it. They don't see the people canceling, the venue changes, and trying to adapt so that people are comfortable and happy. And it's a lot that comes with it. It's a lot, you know, but it can be done.
It can be. And I feel like I have kind of what you were saying. You can always make time. And I feel like I have an inordinate amount of energy. I think sometimes when I try to book up my week that I have a few that I'm recording just so I keep fresh. Cause I like to be one of those people that I'm not a podcast and I do once a month. I like to regularly podcast because it's flexing the muscle. Yeah. And, cause you know, you can encounter some people who got nothing and you're trying to like get gold out of them and they got nothing to say. And then you have other people who are just easy. You barely talk and, you know, you try to balance those, but you don't really know how to navigate if you're not regularly doing it and doing it with different personality types. Exactly. So I would imagine the same thing kind of operates when you're dealing with different guests or different venues. So give me an idea, like how it looks like you would approach maybe potential guests or a venue as far as like you want to do an event there. Run that by me.
Okay, so usually I go if first I'll usually like address some people that I know, see what connections they have. Then they may refer me, and then once someone finds out that they're the ones that refer me, they'll automatically connect me because they're like, oh, so-and-so referred us. So that's a good reference, you know. Now, if I don't have a reference, I will do my research, look them up, look at any events that they've had, any hashtags that are attached to them, so that way I can see, you know, their follow and what type of crowd that they serve and how long they've been in business. Because some people will only be business if you've been in business for a long, long time. That I do, but then there are some people that, like I said, just started out. I'm going to use their stuff because I want people to know, like, hey, this is a great space. This is that. And because that's how they grow. That's how you know I grow, but that's definitely how they grow. They get that exposure. So, and when it comes to guests, I have a certain crowd of people for certain types of things. And people are like, what do you mean? I said, there are a certain type of people, a certain type of group that will want to come to this. There's a certain type of group that want to come to that. And then there's that one set of group of people that will come to anything.
Yeah.
So when you kind of know your people, and especially as it expands, like everything has just expanded over the last 3 weeks just because of this one event. So now I have to add these extra people to this list of guests that I'm used to seeing. And that may link me to something else, but it's like, now I have to take that all in.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is after everything's said and done, when it's all over, you put all your energy into it. You have to have that moment where you take time away, because believe it or not, once it's over, you may feel like you're still on a high, but once you come down, will crash. You will crash, and there's nothing you can do about it. So unless you take the time, you're like, you know what, after it's over, I'm going on vacation or whatever I'm going to do. Like you have to do it, or you're going to crash. So the more people, the more energy, the more that's taken out of you, the more that's required of you. So you have to just be able to, like we talked about earlier, you got to have that balance. Got to have it. So
I read that and we talked about it a little bit before, the apparel owner. So you're being an apparel owner. So from your standpoint, since you're still in that kind of finalizing, planning out, finishing stages, speak on the role that you think social media plays in fashion today, specifically locally.
I love it. So I love it because before there was social media, you had to like read the catalog. Hopefully you couldn't see certain things that were out of the country or whatever the person next door had on to you. But now people have this way of, like I said, it goes back to from being a poet to a dancer to even just a fashion model. They don't have to speak. Their attire speaks for them. Yeah. And I'm big on fashion and allowing it to be an expression of who I am. So whatever I wear outside is an expression of who I am on the inside, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I love it. I think social media has allowed us to have a little bit more growth, a little bit more opportunity, a little bit more flexibility to reach beyond boundaries. So like, let's just say I make a post and I have this on or whatever. And I just hashtag all that, hashtag 90s, hashtag this, and decide to hashtag somebody out of the country, like Italy or whatever. So all these people that are linked to those hashtags, they start looking at it. Whereas before, that wasn't possible. Now I've allowed access to other people, and that may lead to them saying, hey, I want you to be a model for this. And now here I am out of the country. You know what I'm saying? So social media plays a big role in how you market. There's so many different ways, and you can monetize it as well. As long as you use the sources, and you don't always have to pay. People always think you got to pay to know. No, you just you can follow a couple of people that have already been doing it. Listen to their IG reels and stuff like that, and write stuff down and be like, you know what? Okay, they did say this. All right, let me see if I can do it myself. But those hashtags are a lifesaver. Like I'm getting ready to actually change some of my hashtags. I'm using the same ones for a certain while, but now I'm going to change. You only allow 30. So I'm going to change 29 of them because usually one of them is mine. So I'm going to change them, and I'm going to see the type of crowd that attracts, and that may attract even more people. And then doing the reels, being consistent, like how you said about the podcast, you got to be consistent. So with IG reels, a lot of people don't know how to use it. Like, it's just like editing. It's like the mini version of being a director, because you can actually go on there and you do the effects, you do the time, you do the speed, and it's fun to me. It's fun once you do it right. And then once you release it, people are like, oh my God, that is so cool. Somebody says, can you show me how to do that? I'm like, yeah, I can show you. I just kind of played around with it, but it was so cool to me. But doing stuff like that, people look for that. Like, believe it or not, even if they may not follow your page, every time you post a reel, you can see the amount of viewers that have seen it. I had one post of like 2,000. I don't know those people, 2,000 people. And that led that to eventually you do it enough. Out of those 2,000 people, like maybe 100 will start following it. Like, just got to be consistent. Like I post every once in a while. I'm actually going to start doing it more, like once a week. And because I think it's fun, but social media can be good or bad. It depends on how you use it. It's your platform. You can do whatever you want with it. Now, of course, there are rules and stuff like that, but you can get around stuff like that, depending on how you post. And then not only that, using the I don't know if you do it, but like I tag people in my stories. I may not show their name, but I tag them, and then having them share. It's just a chain reaction. And then people are like, hey, I saw this on so-and-so page. So that's a word of mouth. So it's all types of ways. I think it's great. Social media is great. Some people think it's bad, but I said it depends on the crowd that you follow, the crowd that you create. That will determine how good or bad it is. I don't think there's anything bad with social media. I think that it allows people to be themselves, even if they are different and they may not be how you would like them to be, or their viewpoints are different. It's still the best form of expression. Allow people to be themselves for the most part.
I agree with that. Yeah. And I think even having the function of you're able to shop and you see the ads pop up. Yeah, they're a little annoying sometimes, but on occasion you do run into something like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or wow, what are they wearing? And what you were describing. So I have three more questions and then we'll be wrapping up here. Now we get to this weirder question.
Okay.
What is your most unusual talent? I'll give you the option. Most unusual talent, or what is a talent that you do not possess but wish you had? Boom.
Unusual? I don't, because
I'm
what
just
I
regular.
define as usual, people may define as unusual. Like I talk about, do you know that I can ballroom dance?
I did not know that. So
people have seen me dance in other forms like ballet, tap, but ballroom was actually something I picked up when I was in college. And to me, it happens to be the best form of dancing ever because it requires, in ballroom dancing, whether you're doing the waltz, foxtrot, the merengue, the tango, the cha-cha, all those things, you have to have someone that can lead and you have someone that has to follow, like literally. So when everybody's watching, they think you're just like, you rehearse this stuff. No. So there are steps. So you can talk with the person and say, for instance, I think foxtrot is slow, quick, quick. So when I say that, that's a language. Slow, quick, quick means there's a slow step and a quick step. So like left, right, left, like that kind of thing. And then you have the person that's leading you. So they start with their left, but you start with your right. And depending on their hand gesture, whether it's on your back or how they push you, will determine what you do. So you have to feed off each other, but the audience doesn't know that. And I think it's the most amazing thing.
That's really cool. I just learned something. I can't dance.
You can do that. That I'm sure you can do.
I am a lot bigger than I look in person. So I just I'm 6'4" and I look like a monster. It's like, oh, let's do this. Like, and it's like, and I don't lead because it's like, look, I'll follow.
Well, then you need someone that can lead. And the fun thing about it is like with that dancing, it can be male and female, 2 women, 2 men, whatever, whoever can lead. Like, and you have to really be able to follow. Okay. So there are moments where this displays your character and who you really are. So there are moments where I'm like, I may do something else, and they're like, they whisper and they're like, let me lead. So you have to. So now this is the part where you have to actually let yourself go and really know. Sometimes you got to do it because they about to make you look stupid.
That's an Aquarius thing, by the way, right there. That's an Aquarius thing right there. It's like, now I'm doing my own thing. It's like one of us has to lead. Well,
if they're a good dance partner, I will let them lead. As long as they know what they're doing. If they look a little iffy, I'm taking the lead. And even though I'm following, I'm taking the lead in a certain way, like that the audience can't see, but you and I will know. So
that takes familiarity too. I definitely dig it. It's like, I know what I'm doing in this space, and I've been around like dancers and they'll like mention certain things that from like just experience. It's like, this person can't dance. They don't know what they're doing. And like, what do you mean? They look great. They ain't doing shit. So these are the last two. What do you value more and why? Friends or collaborators?
Collaborators.
Okay.
Friends. I don't believe in friends. And that has happened over the course of the years. Wow. I don't believe in the word friends. I don't believe in the word best friends. I believe in associates and people who are like family. And it doesn't mean biological. So family are people who have earned that over the years, where they started off as an associate and they prove themselves to be worthy to be family. Associates are people who want to be friends, who have proved themselves to just be associates. And the people who want to be friends, they have not proven themselves in a way that they can earn it and show that they really know the true meaning of a friend. People use that word too lightly, but collaborators are people that can be associates, a stranger, anything, and you can grow and build from that. Whereas people who are attached to a particular label You cannot always grow with them because they're so attached to that thing. Like, well, I'm your friend, so I should get in free. I'm your friend, so how you going to do me like that? Like, first of all, let's strip the labels. People that know me know I'm not a label person. So let's strip the labels. Let's just say you are you and I am me.
Yeah.
And you're not getting in free, So it's like, then you get to see who really supports you for whatever you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they don't have those labels attached to them. So collaborators for me.
Okay. Yeah. I dig that. That's well articulated because you run into it. My thing is I will support what people are doing. And then also I'm real honest with it. I was like, look, if I fucks with what you're doing, please know that I'm bringing 2 or 3 people with me. Yeah. So act accordingly. So people will in spots like, yo, this is on the house, or appreciate you coming. Yeah. And that's kind of how that thing goes. But then as soon as stuff starts getting funky, I'm not going to lie and say that, oh, yeah, man, that's still cool. It's like, no, I left them because their business practices were flawed or they started acting wild. And I will tell those people that I've endorsed this place. I will tell the people that I brought, this is what my experience is. Maybe yours is different. I look at it from what I bring in the scenario to it. And you're right. People will,
because people want to know what you're bringing.
People will abuse that terminology of friend and so on. And I've had people who would conflate like, you shouldn't do business with friends. And I've had to learn that over the last year. And just friends I've been with for 15, 20 years, just dip. Oh, you're doing bigger things? Yeah. Peace.
It's crazy, and then there's some people you can't even say anything. You just have to leave them where they are.
Yeah.
And I do that often. Like there's some people I don't say a word because it's like, for what? So this can be an ongoing exchange of energy and frustration. No. So I just kind of move quietly.
You got to bless and release.
Other people I will say something like they say don't do business with friends. I have she's still significant actually, just not in the way that she was before. So she's still significant in that sense.
Yeah.
And we still do business, and I don't do that with other people. But because she has proven herself in certain ways with the title or without the title to still be the same, then that's why I hold it to a certain level. But anybody else that has crossed my path, it's like, nope, once we're done, whatever it is, relationship, whatever it is, we're done. Like, you know what? I hope you enjoyed that time and those benefits because now they're over.
All right. Last question I have, and I think I already know the answer. And this is a segue, actually. So I hope you're paying attention to this. It's a segue. What's your motto?
My motto?
Yeah.
DJ said it.
Dang. That was a segue.
Yeah, DJ said it.
Uh-huh. So with that will be my segue to invite you to shamelessly plug whatever you want to plug. Brand ambassador, promoter. Let's go.
Promoter, dancer, entrepreneur, brand ambassador, collaborator, visionary, writer, author, producer. I think that's it for right now. I think the list is going to go on and on as time goes on. But everything that falls on that umbrella, event planner, all the stuff falls under DJ Said It. And what I like about it is that it has a kind of a thing to it. Because if somebody say, well, who said that? And they're like, DJ said it. They're like, oh, well, I know it's good. I know it's going to do that. So that's my thinking on it. Like even when the apparel drops, I'm going to let you know. I know it's going to be a hit, like, and not even on like anything like a cocky kind of thing, but it's like more of a, when you know the value of what you're about to release. Yeah. It just has that thing. That's why I haven't released it just yet, but I can assure you it will be released at the latest, my birthday month. That may be the month where I just release everything that I have been working on behind the scenes, aside from events and all that stuff, all the personal stuff, and release it and just watch it take off and build from there.
So social media, all of that good stuff. Where can they check you out? Keep an eye on what you're doing.
If you go on Instagram, type in hashtag DJ Said It, you can find me there. All the stuff that I've ever done is on there. That's a quick way to find me. Or you can actually type in the @ symbol and live, LIVE, the number 4, life, LIFE 23. Of course, 23 is my birthday. So live for life 23. And They can follow me there on Facebook, and we'll deal with that later. So that's more of a personal thing than they'll know my actual name. But I do go by DJ, and before I close out, DJ also not because I'm ashamed of my birth name, but because it matches my identity and how I identify. It's neither feminine nor masculine. It also, and my pronouns are actually them, they, theirs. That's another topic for another day. But I'm not offended if anybody says she or her. Like I'm not that kind of person. But I do let people know so they'll know how to approach. And then if they need to learn about it, they can. But yeah, so DJ Said It, hashtag DJ Said It, or at Live for Life 23. You can find me there. And as time goes on, there will be other ways you can reach me on other platforms like TikTok. I haven't done TikTok yet. I'm a person who likes to wait. I wait a few, and then I decide if I'm going to invest.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be next. But it'll be the same thing. It'll be the same. And if you go on Facebook, actually, if you type in hashtag DJ Said It, it will still pop up.
There you have it. So I want to thank you, DJ, for popping up on the podcast. This has been a lot of fun, and I'll close out. So for DJ Said It, all of that, check it out, hashtags, all of that stuff. I am Rob Lee, saying that there's art in and around Baltimore. You just got to look for it.